Police are looking for the person who shot an underage girl just last night. What we're learning this morning.
Homelessness knows no zip code.
They may not agree on strategies, but local mayors are now working together to address homelessness.
We've reached the breaking point where people are saying, look, I'm not going to be taken for granted.
The workers' strike threatening to shut down Los Angeles today.
Temperatures are cooling down between now and Thursday. There's even a small chance of precipitation in the forecast, along with, of course, some cloud cover. We'll jump into the forecast, let you know what to expect throughout the rest of your week. It's 6 a.m. on Tuesday, August 8th, and you're up with CBS 8.
This morning, an underage girl is hurt after being shot. Glad you're with us at 6 a.m. I'm Eric Connert.
And I'm Dana Marie McNichol, filling in for Netta Arampour. Now, the shooting happened in Oak Park overnight. Right now, police are still looking for that gunman. We have CBS 8's Chris Groh live outside San Diego Police headquarters with what we know right now. Chris.
Yeah, and what we've heard so far is that that girl is in the hospital being treated for her injuries. But this happened around 10:17 p.m. just late last night. It's supposed to be just a normal summer night, but these kids hanging outside of the apartment, it turned into anything but. Now, what we're being told is that gunshots were fired. This group of kids decided to run. Pretty normal reaction there, but what wasn't normal was the fact that during the time that they were running, that young girl felt pain, then found out she had been shot. So she was taken to the hospital where she was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. But then the concern became where and how were these gunshots fired and who may have fired them. Now, as far as what police are going off of right now, they have no suspect description, no getaway car description, nothing to go on. They did collect some evidence that appeared from the scene. We could see several of those evidence markers that were put on the floor, likely indicating that those are, shell casings and that multiple shots were fired. Now, at this time, police needing the public's help right now. So they are asking anyone who may have been in the area that night, last night and or early in the morning, who may have seen anything that looked out of place or suspicious, to call San Diego Police Department or Crime Stoppers, where you can remain anonymous. Eric and Dana Marie.
Chris Groh reporting live. Chris, thank you. Today, the San Diego sailor accused of selling military secrets to a Chinese intelligence officer is set to appear in court. Today's hearing at the federal courthouse downtown will determine whether he will remain in custody. 22-year-old Patrick Way pleaded not guilty last week after officials arrested him on espionage charges at Naval Base San Diego. Way worked as a machinist on board the USS Essex. Prosecutors say Way sent classified materials like photos and documents between March of 2022 to as recently as last week, receiving thousands of dollars. Prosecutors say the defendant told a fellow sailor he knew he was being recruited for espionage. If found guilty, Way faces life in prison. This morning, the family of a 14-year-old girl found in a Camp Pendleton barracks is calling for criminal charges. The girl went missing on June 10th from her home in Spring Valley. More than 2 weeks later, she was located inside the barracks. A Marine was taken into custody for questioning, but then no charges were filed. A report from military.com says the teen met the Marine through a dating app while pretending to be 22 years old. But the girl's family believes she was sex trafficked and raped.
She looks like a child. There's not even, if she puts makeup on, she does not look like an adult. She's not even like the size of an adult. Like, it's very, very obvious she is a child.
NCIS telling CBS 8 their investigation's ongoing and they will not comment further. The Sheriff's Department essentially telling us the same thing. A state DOJ spokesperson says a task force is looking into possible criminal charges.
And this morning, investigators will be flying a drone over Riverside looking for clues in the fatal mid-air collision of two firefighting helicopters that happened on Sunday. 3 men in one helicopter died on impact after the collision. The firefighters in the larger copter survived after an emergency landing. Now, the victims have been identified as Assistant Chief Josh Bischoff, Fire Captain Tim Rodriguez, and helicopter pilot Tony Souza.
We think about this and how it affects the families. They have lost, we have lost 3 great individuals, 3 fathers, 3 husbands, 3 friends.
The lives lost are a story that will continue not only at fire stations around the state, but in memory of the families, and that's something important to remember.
The National Transportation Safety Board will be interviewing witnesses as well as examining the wreckage and looking into flight records before determining a probable cause. This morning, mayors across San Diego County, they're pledging to work together to address homelessness. CBS 8's Abby Black talked to some of those mayors who are not all agreeing, but some did find common ground.
San Diego's encampment ban is the latest development in addressing homelessness, but that was not the topic of conversation. Rather, it was mayors agreeing to work together to get the 10,000 people in San Diego County experiencing homelessness off the streets. Still, mayors have different approaches.
This is the declaration mayors in San Diego County signed today, pledging to work together as a region to address homelessness.
I've been critical of other cities for not doing their fair share when it comes to stepping up on our homelessness crisis. And what today resulted in was 12 mayors showing up and saying that they understand this is the #1 issue in our county.
San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria says for years the city has carried much of the weight in addressing homelessness and providing shelter beds. In the next year, he's looking forward to the district attorney's up-and-coming app that can be a database and tracking the needs for homeless individuals and a dashboard that shows what shelter beds are available.
We have to be regional in this approach, and I think there's a way that we can work collectively as cities to try and help expedite those processes, make sure that when there's a bed available and there's someone who wants it, that we match them to it quickly so that we end their homelessness and then move on to the next individual.
Housing first is the approach by many mayors, but not El Cajon Mayor Bill Wells.
You're never going to solve this problem unless you address the real root problem, which is mental health and drug addiction issues. And so I've really focused on that.
The San Diego Rescue Mission, who hosted the second annual closed-door symposium, says having these conversations is critical.
Homelessness knows no zip code.
San Diego Rescue Mission President and CEO Donnie D says a task force was created to keep that conversation going on regionally addressing homelessness.
We're going to facilitate conversation around what would it look like to do outreach regionally? What would it look like to shelter regionally? What would it look like to pool resources so that we can offer facilities regionally?
Leaders say these are conversations that need to be had to hold each other accountable.
My hope is that between this meeting this year and next year, what we can point to is tangible progress.
Abby Black, CBS 8.
Now we are turning to severe weather on the East Coast now, where thunderstorms and possible tornadoes have turned deadly. Now at least 2 people are confirmed dead. One person was hit by lightning in Alabama. Another was killed when a tree fell on them in South Carolina. The storms are also impacting travel. According to FlightAware, more than 8,000 flights were delayed and 1,700 were canceled yesterday. While some flight cancellations and delays are still posted for today, numbers are much closer to normal, according to FlightAware. Now let's take a look at this video out of Alaska showing the moment a house collapsed into a river. This comes after record flooding struck the city of Juneau over the weekend after a glacial dam outburst. The city issued evacuation orders for people who live near the river. Glacial outburst flooding happens when trapped water escapes through thinning ice dams, something that has happened more frequently around the world as a result of climate change.
Yeah, we've seen some of that, the erosion happen here too. Tough to see that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we know that that's what happens. Mother Nature shows its wrath there. We've been seeing that across the country. A lot of severe weather off toward the south, across the state of Georgia into the Carolinas. We also still have heat-related watches, warnings, advisories scattered across the south. We have seen ours expire. Yesterday at 8 p.m., an excessive heat warning that applied to our San Diego County deserts, it essentially expired. We will likely see a return to that heat going into next week. So here's the thing. Between now and Thursday, now and Friday or so, temperatures are cooling down. It's a lot more mild of a remainder of the week. We even have the opportunity for a few showers to move on shore. But what we're watching out for in particular is that change into next week that is going to prompt another heat wave to come our way. For now, temperatures are cooling. Take a look. 77 this afternoon along the coast, 85 inland, 81 for the mountains, and 104 for the deserts. Most spots between your inland valleys and your deserts are cooling by about 2 to 5 degrees compared to yesterday. That is going to continue into tomorrow, Wednesday, and then Thursday will be our coolest day. Satellite radar imagery showing us clouds are offshore. They haven't made their way onshore quite yet. They still can, and that means that we could start to see the return to that cloud cover. But for now, we're enjoying views like this outside. as those clouds are pretty decently offshore. Some pink and orange tones beaming on through. Sunrise was 2 minutes ago, 6:07. Sunset's not coming until 7:41 p.m. And take a look at the 5-day forecast. We are going to start to see clouds increase daily between today and Thursday. Moisture from Tropical Storm Eugene is being brought in as it breaks down, and a trough of low pressure is also sinking in. So when you combine the two, we've got cooling temperatures, we've got an increase in relative humidity, and an increase in cloud cover that could set the stage for maybe a few showers or thunderstorms into Wednesday, Thursday. Right now, chances are pretty minimal of that wet weather coming to fruition. Much more likely that we'll see that rise in humidity, that increase in cloud cover, and then maybe just a few scattered showers out there before we start that warm up into next week. Let's take a look at your border wait time. 6:10 on the clock right now, and so far San Ysidro port of entry is pretty impacted so far on that morning commute. 100-minute wait, so you're going to be waiting about an hour 40. Otay Mesa port of entry a little bit quicker out there. You've got about an hour wait. Once you get into San Diego County, you can head to cbs8.com/traffic. It'll give you the latest on what our highway conditions look like this morning. Dana Marie and Eric.
Thanks, Evan. Still ahead, COVID hospitalizations are up once again. The new variant to watch out for.
Plus, more picket lines in LA. The strike threatening to shut down Los Angeles today. And this video of a brawl going viral now. What's happening to the people involved?